Welcome, friends. It's Anayat, and welcome to the Faces of Machu Picchu, evidence of advanced civilizations carved in stone. Peru, Machu Picchu. I've been to Machu Picchu in 2005 and 2006, and after the first visit, which was really overwhelming, I had a chance to review, to reflect, and to learn some more about sacred geometry and energy. And I really felt I needed to go back to Machu Picchu and look for evidence that really hasn't been clearly depicted in archaeology or in historical writings about the place. I just felt there was a lot more there than anybody had really talked about, at least openly. Now, on the topic of faces specifically, civilizations, cultures very commonly leave behind faces, depictions of human or animal forms. We have examples from all over the planet from many different time periods. In Egypt we have the Sphinx. More recently we have Mount Rushmore. In South America and Bolivia near Lake Titicaca is a place called Tiwanaku. And in Tiwanaku there is a sunken courtyard which has many different carved faces, which really have representations of all of the major races on the planet Earth, all of the various ethnic features, and even a number of faces which don't look like they're from this planet at all. In Central America, of course, the largest examples are the stone faces left by the Olmec, a very mysterious race. And even in South Africa, there are many, many profile stones which have been found to have correspondences between specific events of the year with the sun, either equinoxes or solstice. There are alignments that occur, and even their shadows interplay with different rock formations. Now, back at Machu Picchu, there's clear evidence of very careful, very skillful sculpture that has gone on. And in this example, this is the Intihuatana, which is energetically the center of the Machu Picchu complex itself. Now, we know that the South American cultures, including the Inca and the Amira, all of those peoples around there, did a lot of interesting things carving with stone. Here at the Muro doorway near Lake Titicaca, the lower portion where the gentleman is standing is shaped sort of like a face. And this is a very large carving, very intricately done. And if you get a chance to go down towards Lake Titicaca, you definitely want to stop here at the Muro doorway. Now, getting back into a little bit higher into Peru, towards the coast, in the 1950s, there were a number of stone profile faces which were discovered, and this is a place called the Marcajuse Stone Forest. And this is closer to Lima than it is to Cusco or Machu Picchu, but there are many, many faces that are in profile here at this location. Also around Lake Titicaca, there is an area near the Muro doorway which actually depicts the creation story in stone. And in this example, you can see, if you look very carefully, two eyes in the upper left and a long snout going down to the right. To most people, this looks like a crocodile. And in a temple near Cusco, around the Sacsayhuaman area, there is a cave, and there is an arch in the doorway, and that is carved in what most people who know in the area believe is in the shape of a llama's head. And llama figures very prominently in Inca mythology. Now, some examples of intentional carving at Machu Picchu besides the Intihuatana, there is an area below the Temple of the Sun which has this heart-shaped stone in it. And in this photo, there are lines drawn on the stone. It is one stone, and the grid lines that are on the stone are there for the archaeologists should there be an earthquake and they have to come in and help reassemble the stones, that they'll know what the alignment of all the stones were. But this is a heart-shaped stone there. Now if you go from Machu Picchu, and you can do this in a day trip, if you hike to the type of Huayna Picchu, and then you take the trail from the top of Huayna Picchu down to the Temple of the Moon on the far north side of the Huayna Picchu mountain, closer to the Urubamba River, on the way down there are some interesting stones. And this one here, if you look, it looks like a face with slits for eyes and a nose sticking out there. This is a very large stone, probably about 4 feet tall. And you can see from this, this is a face that's on the trail. Now, on the Machu Picchu complex itself, at the far end of the complex, by 2 huts that are on the way to the trail to Huayna Picchu, it had just rained before I took this photograph, and very clearly this is in the shape of a llama's head, and there are eyes where the water puddles are. So there's a very interesting place in Machu Picchu that has some of the most compelling evidence of intentional sculpture for faces. And this is an area that the archaeologists, lacking some creativity, have called the rock quarry. And their idea is that this is where stones were being taken for the site, they were being worked on and moved out of this area as they were being finished. Well, I'm not so sure about it just being a rock quarry. I don't think it's a rock quarry at all. And in fact, as I was looking at this area, I was wondering what was here. It seemed like there was some configuration of stones in a certain arrangement, and I was having some difficulty finding out what that was. So it occurred to me that I should look for some kind of a marker, and the idea came to me that I should look for a keystone. And in this photograph, there's a large stone which sort of looks like a face with a nose pointing up, and in front of that there's a little stone. And that's somewhat conspicuous with the other stonework that's in the area. So what I did is I stood right where that stone is and looked, looking at this headstone as a reflector, looked in the opposite direction towards the rock quarry.